How to play Overwatch. Sorry. What is Overwatch? Overwatch is a live PvP game made up of a total of 10 players, with 5 on each side. Overwatch is an FPS, or first-person shooter, set in the future where robots rebel against humanity and a special task force is made up to stop them, that being Overwatch. Well, that's the backstory of it. In Overwatch, you and the other team fight over some form of point. One of the game modes is called Hybrid, which is one static point. Once taken over, a payload is brought out, and you must escort it to the other side of the map. Another game mode is called Push, where you escort a robot that pushes a payload to the either side of the map, depending on who's controlling it. How to play Overwatch. Overwatch characters are called heroes. There are 3 different kinds of heroes: tanks, damage, and supports. Tanks is essentially the bullet sponge and allows the team to push forward and take space. Damage is just doing as much damage as possible while dying as less as possible. Support is healing. Support the other classes and allows them to do as much as possible. The team has 1 tank, 2 damage, 2 supports. Out of all the Overwatch roles, damage is played the most with a pick rate of 40.42%. Support is the second most played with 37.59%. And tank only gets picked 21.81% of the time, according to overbuff.com. Tanks. Tanks are probably the most important role since there's only one. As previously mentioned, tanks take up space to help their team push forward. When I think of a tank, I think of Reinhardt at the top right of the picture. He is a large knight with a large hammer and a large shield 6.3 meters wide, or about 20.66 feet. His abilities include Fire Strike, a large fire burst thrown by his hammer. On the other side of the spectrum of tanks is Doomfist, the top left African dude. He is well known as a mobile tank. A mobile tank sacrifices armor points for more mobility. Damage. Damage is widely considered the fun role. The damage roster is very diverse with many different playstyles. I am primarily a damage player with a horde amount of hours on this game. You can simplify the damage role into flankers, flyers, frontliners, and snipers. I usually fall into the flanker role, having at least 1,000 hours on Genji, this guy, Tracer, this girl, and Echo, this girl. Support, or the healers. Supports are the backbone of this game. Recently it's become probably the strongest role with more survivability and damage reduction. Like the other roles, supports have different playstyles. You can play fast with Lucio, the green lower left, and Kiriko, top rightish. You can play for more damage with less healing, with Zenyatta and Anna. Oh, and Baptiste, sorry. There's also supports that pair well with other characters like Brig, the redhead, with Reinhardt, the tank I mentioned earlier, as well as Mercy, the bottom left blonde, and Echo, the damage hero I mentioned earlier. Who should I play? Picking a role is very simple. Just mess around and find what you find fun. I enjoy heroes with high difficulty that takes time to master. I also enjoy a tank play style with Reinhardt. Using his simple kit to its fullest, I really enjoy most heroes except for snipers. No matter how many hours I put into them, I'm just bad. I suggest playing low skill heroes to start. If you come from a Call of Duty background, I suggest Soldier 76. He's a basic soldier with a basic gun. Or if you enjoy fun movement mechanics, I would show you Wrecking Ball. Little hamster guy right here. He's a hamster with a death ball that grabbles onto walls and slams itself on players. It really depends on your preference. There really is a hero for everyone. The specs needed. Just a couple months ago, it was put onto the Steam store and made even more accessible. Overwatch is a very easy game to run. You don't need a top-of-the-line PC. According to the Steam store, to run Overwatch, you need a Windows 10 OS, an Intel Core i3 or AMD Phenom X3, 6 gigabytes of RAM, a 600 series GPU from NVIDIA, or a 7000 series GPU from Radeon, or AMD Radeon, DirectX version 11, and a broadband internet connection, and 50 gigabytes of storage. Now what? Okay, what now? Now you have the general idea and can download the game for free. After playing this game for what feels like forever, I can rightfully say that I hate it, but also love it so much. In my opinion, there's no game that can scratch my brain the way Overwatch does. It's very fast paced, with very little downtime in between fights, and the thrill of competitive mode never fails. It uses all the usual controls with WASD and simple mouse buttons, and is also available on console. Now, just enjoy the game.